Imagine being so fed up with what you drive that you buy one of the rarest, most expensive supercars on the planet and immediately hand it over to be completely dismantled and rebuilt from scratch. That's not recklessness. That's not madness. That is the origin story of quite possibly the most breathtaking automobile ever constructed. The Ferrari P4 by Pininfarina. One car, one owner, one vision, and a factory floor full of artisans who turned an obsession into an icon. Today we're pulling back the curtain on every stage of how this machine came to life, from the first pencil sketch to the moment it rolled onto the Italian autostrada for the very first time. Design philosophy, coach-building wizardry, carbon fiber sorcery, wind tunnel science, and hand-stitched details so personal they literally scanned a man's body to get them right. 10 stages. One masterpiece. Let's get into it. Stage 1. The dream that started it all. In early 2005, American collector James Glickenhaus came up with the idea of having Pininfarina create a cutting-edge supercar, inspired by Ferrari's legendary 330 P4 and 412 P Group 6 prototypes of 1967. Most of us have car dreams. We screenshot something beautiful, set it as our wallpaper, and move on. Glickenhaus is not most of us. A former film producer turned investment professional, his love for automobiles runs deep. His collection includes the legendary Ferrari P4. But his vision was never merely to own pieces of history. It was to create a new chapter within it. This was never about showing off. This was about continuing a legacy the automotive world had let quietly fade. In March 2005, Pininfarina asked if he was interested in commissioning a one-off car. One phone call, one question, and the greatest coach-built automobile of the modern era was set in motion. Stage 2. Sacrificing an Enzo. The donor car was a 2003 Enzo Ferrari, an unregistered US spec example delivered new to Ferrari of Beverly Hills. It had been ordered by a South American customer who balked at import costs and asked the dealership to sell it. This car never turned a wheel in anger. It sat pristine and untouched until Glickenhaus bought it and said, "Strip it, rebuild it, make it something the world has never seen." Once the Enzo arrived at Pininfarina's Turin studio, the transformation began. Ferrari gave the project their blessing and provided technical assistance from Maranello. You don't get Ferrari's blessing lightly. The project cost Glickenhaus $4 million, and in interviews he said he felt Pininfarina gave him more than he expected. The man spent $4 million and still felt like he got a bargain, which tells you everything about what came next. Stage 3. The philosophy battle that shaped the design. Glickenhaus and Pininfarina did not immediately agree on what this car should be. His initial vision leaned retro, rooted in 1960s racing heritage. Pininfarina's styling team leader Ken Okuyama was clear. They wanted to stay away from retro design and move toward a more forward-thinking supercar. Crucially, they were excited not just to design the car, but to build it. Pininfarina hadn't done that in decades. This was their chance to prove they still could. The result of that creative tension was something neither side could have produced alone. A car built not just for a client, but with one. Stage 4. From pencil to pixel. Design began in September 2005 with sketches by Jason Castriota. He had to perform a visual magic trick, make a car that feels like it rolled off the Le Mans grid in 1967, while looking like nothing that existed before or since. The process moved from preliminary sketches to a rough resin model mated to the Enzo chassis for technical evaluation, then to a full-scale model presented to Glickenhaus in December 2005. Sketches in September, approved full-scale model by December, blistering speed for a car of this complexity. Nobody was phoning it in. This was a small, obsessive team working on something they knew would be extraordinary. Stage 5. The carbon fiber revolution. Every body panel was laid up, cured, and finished by hand. One set of tools, one set of hands, one car. The exterior is made entirely of carbon fiber reinforced plastic, shaped to evoke the Ferrari 330 P4, but Glickenhaus called it a rolling history of Ferrari racing DNA, referencing multiple legendary machines. The rear window echoes the Ferrari 512S. The side vents reference the 330 P3. The nose draws from the Ferrari 333 SP, improving cooling and frontal crash safety. This is not a designer casually nodding to history. This is a love letter written in carbon fiber, every paragraph referencing a different chapter of Ferrari's greatest racing glory. Stage 6. The wind tunnel, where beauty meets physics. The P4-5 was wind tunnel tested at Pininfarina's facility in Grugliasco, Turin. A full-size plastic model was fitted to the Enzo chassis for extensive testing. Every curve, every vent, every surface transition was interrogated by data and either justified or redesigned. The results were stunning. The P4-5 created less drag, but more downforce than the original Enzo. A car softer and more romantically styled than the aggressively angular Enzo, and more aerodynamically efficient. Drag coefficient 0.34. Beauty and physics in perfect harmony. Pininfarina had proven that elegance and performance are not enemies. They never were. Stage 7. 200 custom parts. More than 200 components were designed specifically for this car. 200. For one car that will never be replicated. Engineering hours, tooling costs, prototyping, testing, all for components used exactly once in the history of automotive manufacturing. Custom Bixenon lighting clusters with an innovative LED system. 20-inch alloy wheels milled from solid billet, not cast, not conventionally forged, milled. 9.5 inches wide at the front, 13 at the rear, each carved from a single block of metal. That is the detail that separates coach building from manufacturing. Pininfarina also rearranged the car's entire wiring harness, making it easier to service and 595 pounds lighter than the Enzo. They went through every loom, every connector, and optimized it. Not because anyone told them to, because that's what excellence looks like when nobody is watching. Stage 8. The cabin, obsessively personal. The interior is not a cockpit. It is a bespoke environment engineered around two specific human beings. Glickenhaus and his son's bodies were scanned, so Pininfarina could mold the seats precisely for their comfort, accessibility, and sightlines. Body scanning for a car seat in 2005, before that kind of personalization, was fashionable in the hypercar world. The carbon fiber seat frames are covered in black mesh and red leather, selected by Glickenhaus's daughter. The whole family was involved. This wasn't a transaction. It was a family heirloom being created in real time. Glickenhaus designed the interior himself, incorporating an iPod Nano stereo and a tablet PC with GPS, a 3D model of the car, and a complete parts list and service manual. He was thinking about maintaining his one-of-a-kind Ferrari decades into the future. The butterfly doors are engineered so that even at 160 miles per hour, there is no wind noise. Every detail, no matter how small, was built to a standard most production manufacturers wouldn't dream of chasing. Stage 9. Ferrari's blessing and a name that changed everything. Upon seeing the finished car, Luca di Montezemolo decided it deserved to be officially badged as a Ferrari. Montezemolo, Andrea Pininfarina, and Glickenhaus agreed. The official name would be Ferrari P4-5 by Pininfarina. The head of Ferrari looked at a privately commissioned, completely rebuilt one-of-one automobile and decided it was worthy of the prancing horse. That is the highest possible endorsement in the automotive world. The car went through mathematical modeling, wind tunnel testing, and crash test simulations to become fully road legal. Glickenhaus wanted to drive it hard, and Pininfarina made sure it was ready. In July 2006, the P4-5, still in primer, was completed, and Glickenhaus took it out on the Autostrada for the first time. Everything the team had worked toward for over a year, distilled into that single moment. Stage 10. Pebble Beach, the world finally sees it. The Ferrari P4-5 was publicly revealed on August 18, 2006, at the Pebble Beach Concours d'Elegance, then shown again at the Paris Motor Show in September. Pebble Beach, the most prestigious automotive gathering on the planet. And the P4 didn't just attend, it dominated. In 2007, it won the Design Award for Concept Cars and Prototypes at the Villa d'Este Concorso d'Eleganza. And the legacy didn't stop there. Ferrari's Special Projects program was conceived in the wake of Glickenhaus's commission, triggering a revival of public interest in the coach-building tradition. One man's dream didn't just produce one extraordinary car, it reopened an entire chapter of automotive history the industry had quietly closed. The Ferrari P4 by Pininfarina respects the past without being trapped by nostalgia. It uses Enzo engineering without being visually dominated by it. It carries Pininfarina elegance at a moment when supercars were becoming more aggressive, more angular, more obsessed with shock value. And sitting here in 2026, it still looks like it arrived from a parallel timeline where automotive design never compromised, where beauty was never sacrificed for downforce numbers, where a single human being could walk into one of the world's greatest design houses and say, "Build me a dream." And they did. 10 stages, hundreds of custom components, thousands of engineering hours, one car. And the most important lesson it leaves us with: true craftsmanship has no shortcut, no algorithm, and no production quota. It has only the relentless pursuit of something extraordinary. If this deep dive had you gripping your armrest, hit that like button. It genuinely helps more people discover stories like this one. Subscribe if you haven't already, because we go this deep on automotive history and craftsmanship every single week. And drop a comment below. Do you think anything built today with all our technology and resources could ever match what Pininfarina pulled off in that Turin workshop in 2006? I genuinely want to know what you think. See you in the next one.